Hi everyone, this is SportsReplays. This is how I went this week. Yeah, very disappointing. A lot of injuries happened this week, and a few of my players looks like they're going to have to trade out, or I'm going to have to hold on to for a couple of weeks. So look, round ranking of 51,000, my second lowest this season, I believe, and I slipped down 2,000 spots in season ranking, which isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I think it's pretty tight. So if you have a few bad weeks, it really has a huge influence. Not as much as what I thought though. Back to this team here. So look, a few players that did well, like Sean Darcy and Jordan Dawson here. We'll start off with the defenders here. Did a little disappointing with Dawson, considering Adelaide won. I thought, if they're going to win, he's going to, absolutely dominate. But it was a pretty even performance from Adelaide. No one really set the world on fire. Everyone just did their job and did it well. And didn't even get 100 Dawson, which is a bit disappointing. But look, he's done well this season for the most part. He's been pretty consistent. And look, he's probably D1, I would say, this year. I'm glad I've picked him, but this week he's just performed poorly. Well, not poorly, but lower than his season average by a fair bit. Just to put it that way. On to another player who's performed poorly this week, and that's Jack Sinclair. And 65 was just garbage. I mean, I can't accept that. I can accept maybe a 90 or even an 80, but 65 is just not good enough. Considering it's sort of not a pod, but not a lot of people own him. Just to put it that way, I think it'd be under 20%. I need to recheck that. I could be wrong, but look, 65 is not good enough, and I just don't think he's as good as what he was last year, Sinclair, and it might be a bit of another failed trade-in by the looks of it. I'll just have to hope he performs, better throughout the season, but this looks like it might be another dud trade-in that I've done. On to Will Day, 88. Look, I mean, Hawthorn did get smashed, early on, and it wasn't going to be, the best day, I would say, for Hawthorn in terms of Supercoach scoring and the scoring in the scoreboard wise. And look, 88's okay, better than what Jack Sinclair got. And he's still young as well, Day. So look, 88, if that's one of his lowest scores, I'll take it. But I was asking, obviously we want a bit more, but that's not the biggest issues I have this week coming forward, to be honest. On to Sheasel, 68. Look, I mean, another player in my side performed lower than what I performed poorly, or lower than I wanted. And look, everyone has Sheasel, so it's not a big deal. But look, he's probably going to reach his maximum price point now. I can't really see him get too much higher than a 464,000, maybe a little bit higher. Look, he's gonna be a hold. He might get traded out later. Maybe one of my last trade outs, to be honest. I might just have to hold on to him for the rest of the season, to be honest. But if that's one of his lowest scores, we'll just have to take it. On to Atkins, 62. Traded Atkins in, for the quick cash down. I thought, he's has a bit better high scoring than Weddle, even though I think Weddle outscored him this week. I think Atkins does have that better buy as well. So I think, if he can stay in the Gold Coast side up until the buys and trade him out a few weeks after, that's what I'm looking to do with Atkins. He's not going to be my side for the whole season unless things go absolutely chaos like this week. But look, 62 is okay. Not the biggest disappointment this week, just to put it that way. Gosh, we'll start talking about disappointments going on later on in this video. Chicken yes, another disappointment, 33, but a lot of people brought him in anyway. It's just gonna it really is gonna restrict cash gen now, and it's just frustrating because with all the carnage and all the injuries galore and all the garbage that's gone on this week, just everything, we can't afford to have a 33 on field. And look, hopefully that's one of his lowest scores. It's looked good the last couple of weeks prior to this week, Chincotta. Hopefully it's just one in like 10 matches. We'll just hopefully see he doesn't get dropped either, because that might be another concern as well. Onto the bench, McKenna, 35, another player that's disappointed. Glad I didn't have him on field, and he's one that I was looking to get rid of. But he's probably going to have to hold too because all the garbage that's gone on as well. He's another player that's probably, we'll have to wait and see. He's another player probably have to trade out. I'm not too sure. And Constable didn't play. Not too sure why. He's dominating the VFL side, and Gold Coast are, killing it in the VFL. So look, I'm just hoping he gets back in the side because we really need him. We need old Constable in our sides, or at least on the bench, generating that cash, particularly for the buys because he's got a good buy. I'll just hold on to him for now. Bontebelli, 112. A little disappointing. At least didn't take the captaincy on over him. Ola got the 7 points there. That's one of the few things that went right for me this week. Look, you'll be a little disappointed you had Bontebelli as a captain option. Look, he's been a gun player this season. Probably been the best player this season, to be honest. And if 112 of them is his lowest scores, you'll just have to take it. Maybe not as captain. I can understand the frustration with that. Over 119, another little below par game from another great player in Oliver. And it's one of those games I thought, he should get at least 130 playing against Hawthorn. And look, Hawthorn, did lose by the 9-goal margin. So the margin, wasn't surprising in match result. But I thought Oliver will at least get the 130, but it was his teammate Petrarca who got that got that higher score. So look, that's just okay. If Oliver can get, that's one of his lowest scores. It was only a little bit lower than his season average, so it wasn't a disaster score line. On to Noah Anderson, another player I brought in. I brought him in because he's good buy, and since Tuke's out, I thought it might be an actually good option. Try to hopefully get some pod points or extra. Bring in a pod play and try and catch up to the competition who are ahead of me. But looks like this round, it just didn't plan out. He got tagged, and even though Gold Coast won by 70 points, they were playing West Coast, and I thought, you might get that 130, 140 score at least. I know that, safety score of the VC, but it wasn't to be. As I stated just before, he got tagged, and his teammate in Roel absolutely destroyed West Coast, went bananas. Look, it is what it is. Look, I still reckon he'll still do decent on going forward, and he's got the good buy. So it'll just, it just didn't go his way, and it's one of those things where we just have to accept it. Also, Rory Laird failed to get 100. And look, even though Adelaide won, I thought, if you would think he would get a lot better score considering Adelaide won. But again, not many of their players, did extremely well. It was just an all-round team effort, which is what you want in a side. You want a consistent, team effort. And look, he did get injured off in the last, 10, 15 minutes. Might have even been more. And it sort of affected him getting that, stopped him from getting that 115, 120 score, which we were hoping for as well. I just don't think Laird is quite the same as he was last year. He still will be a good player, but he's not going to get those huge humongous scores, or they can be as consistent as last year, I reckon. So it is what it is. Hopefully, I think he is going to be fine for next week by the looks of it. Need more information on that. Tom Green, 97, probably GWS's best player at the moment, or alongside with Toby Green and maybe Caniglio. I think GWS's top end is okay. It's just their bottom end that's letting them down. And look, Tom Green, everyone has him, so it's not a big. I'm not going to talk too much about him. On to LDU. It's a bit of a double-edged sword this week with LDU. He got a decent score, but he looks like he might be out for a couple of weeks, which is a bit frustrating because it was like the last 10, 15 minutes. Is when he went off and had quite a few injuries, North Melbourne, throughout that game as well. That's another reason why Port Adelaide kicked away towards the end as well. So LDU did have quite a bit of influence in the game a little bit, but Port Adelaide were just a better team. So it's just chaotic with West Coast and North Melbourne, and just so many injuries with those two sides. It's just, I just don't know how they're going to win another game, those two sides, to be honest. So he might be traded out. LDU, it's another huge call I'm going to have to make. If it's probably 1 or 2 weeks, I'll just have to hold, I reckon. It's a tough decision. Now on to Jacob Hopper, 43. He's going to be a trade out, I reckon. Even if it's for 1 week, it's a player who's going to look to trade out anyway. Maybe hold. Was hoping to hold for the buys if everything went well, but it looks like that isn't the case. So he's going to be a trade out, I reckon. It's been probably a little disappointing, Hopper. I know we made over 100k on him, but I was hoping he would get up to 500k. You know, it was all the big prize everyone was on about. Oh, let's jump into Hopper. He's going to be the next star. But he's had a few good games, and he's made that bit of cash, but not as much as what I wanted. And just like Setterfield, you know, he's performed a bit better than what his average was for the previous seasons, but he's going to be a trade out, I reckon. On to Warple, 71. Another player's lost cash in my side. Had quite a few of them. And it wasn't terrible, but wasn't great either. Just butchers the ball, Warple, which is hindering his game. You know, he could easily have got a 90 or even 100 if he just didn't butcher the ball. And he'd be a good selection if he just didn't butcher the ball. It's his biggest weakness, in my opinion. And it's just killing us really, for us Warple owners. I'm not too sure if he's a trade out this week. He's probably going to be a hold, to be honest. So he's probably a hold and up into the buys, to be honest, at the very least, by the looks of it. Unless things go my way, which isn't at this round. Onto the bench, Paul Davey was sub and didn't do much really. A score of 7. It's going to lower his price point. And I don't know what to do with Davey. I'll just have to hold on to him. You know, sub is probably the worst. I reckon worst place to be in. I reckon worst selection because he's not on field generating enough scoring to maintain that price point or increase the price. But then he's not off the field where he's not going to have that reduced price point. His price isn't going to change because he's not playing. But having him as a sub, it's just frustrating because he only played a quarter as well, and he was pretty poor. Just like my side in Essendon, which is another whole separate video I could go on about. And the other two bench players, Johnson and Roberts, didn't even play, just dud selections, and that's another rant which I can go on about. But two players who didn't disappoint me this week and saved my round for being a complete disaster, and that's Sean Darcy. 151, outstanding job, Sean. Happy with your performance this week. And yeah, I can't ask for much more. 151 would be great if you can do it every week. Not expecting that. But it's one of the advantages I've had over other sides this season. And I'll just have to, I'll take it. It killed Sydney, and Sydney, they got a lot of question marks. I don't think they'll make the 8 this season, to be honest. It's just too tough now. After round 2, they've been probably one of the worst sides, to be honest. Wouldn't say as bad as North Melbourne, Hawthorn or West Coast, but probably maybe just slightly above them, to be honest. It's been, garbage from Sydney, to be honest. I mean, they weren't terrible, but they're just far off from where they were last year. Onto the bench. Oh, wait, we're talking about Marshall now. 131. So glad I hold Marshall. I know a few people might have traded him to Gawn, which I wasn't. I'm not a fan of trading premiums. Unless Gawn can become a forward. I just don't think it's going to be a necessary option, considering with all the injuries and lower performing rookies just aren't getting the points we want. It's just not going to be a selection I'm really keen on in doing. But if it works out for you, that'd be great. I'm just not on board with it. And Marshall, 131, was St Kilda's best player by far in the end. So, look, he can have his head held by high. But every other St Kilda player, I mean, I actually tipped St Kilda, but to lose by that amount, I wasn't expecting that at all. Considering they've got a good defence. Onto the bench, Galore is doing pretty well, 77. He's made a lot of cash and has ended up being a good selection. We're going to hold him on out into the buys and then probably get rid of him. Actually, probably not, to be honest. Unless there's a nice cash gen option, because he's going to be good cover for the buys. Although I think Darcy Marshall do. Yeah, he's. I'm gonna have to look a bit into that, but the ruck should be fine, I think, for the buys. Onto the forward line. Trento, a little disappointing. And look, I mean, if that's his poorest scores, we'll take it. I mean, considering Richmond won, you'd think he'll, again, dominate a bit more. But I think it was just better mixed. Play a bit consistency with their players in terms of all the Richmond side. They performed pretty well. More of their players this week. And look, 90. If that's his lowest score, we'll take it. Dunkley, 103. Look, considering Brisbane won, I thought he might score a little bit more. But look, everyone has Josh Dunkley, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Errol Goulden is carrying Sydney this year, to be honest. 156. Outstanding score from Goulden. And yeah, we can't ask for much more. And looks like to be a decent selection this season. Connor Rosie, just your standard 105. Kane Chander, 42. Disappointing. And there's another player we're going to have to look to trade out, I reckon. He's not going to generate any more cash now. I reckon he's actually gone down in price this week. And look, I might have to hold on to him because I've got other issues I want to sort out. On to Mitchell, 74. Outstanding job for Mitchell. One of the shining lights of this side this week. And I'm happy I had him on field. Van Ruden, 70 score. So he actually scored 28 more than Chander, which was a bit of a surprise. I lost 28 points there and a bit frustrating, but at least he didn't go down in value. Because if he performed poorly, it's just another rookie who's just gone crap. And it's frustrating, and Sturt didn't play. So look, what I'm going to do this week, I have to look at to see how long LDU is out for and Hopper. Hopefully Laird is not injured, and not injured severely, that he misses the next few weeks. What I'm going to do with trades, haven't decided yet. But I think Hopper, he has to go anyway, because I was looking to get rid of him anyway. Him to a merit is what I want to do. I'll have to look at the rookies. I think Jury was one of them, but he performed terrible. So I'm not too sure if he keeps his spot. But I think North Melbourne have injuries anyway, so he's probably going to hold it because of that. So look, should I bring Jury in? It's going to be another crap rookie. I don't really want to do it. But who am I going to get rid of him for? Is it going to be a Chandler who's actually doing okay other than this week? I get 200k to upgrade a Hopper to a merit who has a good run coming up. That's what I was looking to do at this stage. Should LDU, is he going to be out for a while? Should I trade him to a premium? I've lost 600k on him. 60k, I should say. As another tough decision to make. Should I get rid of McKenna since he's bleeding cash? Should I trade him to another defensive rookie? He's on the bubble. I'm not too sure if there's any good ones in the bubble. I don't think there is. Should I do that? It's just another tough decision I have to make. As for that, it's just, I've got no cover on the midfield as well. Terrible. Just because if Davey doesn't play, I've got no one. So what I'm going to do is look. Is Jury a midfield forward? If he is, I could potentially trade at a Hopper. I'll have a look into it. I'll do my final trades later in the week, most likely. We'll see if I can do a video later in the week about it. But overall, frustrating. It all went to bed later in the Saturday matches and went to crap on Sunday. Just went crap. Because players like Sinclair, who not everyone has, Noah Anderson as well, maybe a Laird. It wasn't that bad with Laird though. And Dawson was a bit disappointing as well. Just all let me down. I'll let you know what trades I'm going to do in the week. I'm probably going to make a video about it. And it's just a week that just didn't go my way in the end. Hope you did better than me. I know some people had meals, so it could have been a lot worse. Thank God I didn't trade him in. Otherwise, that's just be a complete disaster. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.